Well, hello, my fellow veteran military spouses. We are going to go ahead and get started in just like the next probably like 45, 60 seconds or so. I just want to give a few another minute for people to join. While we're waiting, if you don't mind putting in the chat where you're calling in from today. It's always fun to know where in the world, or the US anyway, you guys are calling in from. Would love to know where you are living, and where you are sitting right now. I'm in Colorado Springs. I'm looking outside. It's very cloudy and starting to snow. I saw a bunch of people have, oh, San Diego. It is not snowing in San Diego. You lucky duck. I would love to be in San Diego right now. San Diego, are you getting, is your air bad from all those fires in LA? I bet that it is. Oh, Monica, yes, my boss is in North Carolina, and like the schools are shut down and stuff, which is crazy. Oh, you have the fires locally. I haven't heard that on the news. Wow. Oh, it's gorgeous where Tracy is. Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, we have a soft spot for Kansas City. I do work with Dress for Success Kansas City, if you're familiar with that nonprofit. It's a great city and a great nonprofit. San Diego. Oh, Tracy, you're in San Diego. That's right. I knew that. I knew that about you. I see a couple of names that I recognize, which is always fun for me. So thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, I don't know what you have, but it looks like 2 minutes after. So I'm going to go ahead and get started so that make sure that we make good use of our time. We are recording this session so that you can play it back later, or those that missed today will have a chance to go back and listen to this also. So again, thank you so much for voting with your time today to be here, to join me to talk about this program that I'm very, very, very excited to launch. Before we dive too deeply into the program, I do want to acknowledge each and every one of you and say thank you for your service as military spouses, as veteran military spouses. I'm a veteran military spouse too, so you're in good company. I know that you all have sacrificed many parts of your lives in service to country, not the least of which is your career, which is really where this program was born. So again, thank you for your service, and thank you so much for being here today. Louise, it's so nice to see a face. Thank you for coming on on camera. I love connecting with people's faces, so it's good. It's good to see you. Okay, so next slide, Shannon, if you don't mind. I've got my trusty friend and colleague in the background helping me manage slides. She created these beautiful slides, by the way. So I want to introduce myself, tell you a little bit about who I am and why this is important to me. I'm Rochelle Chapman, for maybe those of you, many of you that I don't know. As you can see here, I am a proud Navy veteran spouse. Don't hold that against me, Army people. Sorry about the loss last year. We were very excited about it. This is my beautiful family, my two cute kiddos who, they're still cute, but they're not little. They are like barely teenagers now. Time flies. I know you guys understand that. One thing to note about this photo and about our family is this is a really special day in our lives as a family. I know many of you have celebrated similar moments where your service member is getting promoted. This was one of those days in a very unique location. One thing unique about me is that I've worked for the Adecco Group for 20 years. This year, I celebrate my 20-year anniversary, which you all know as a military spouse is, I'm kind of a unicorn in our community. The fact that I've worked for the same company for as long as I have, you don't really see that a lot. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm proud to work for a very military spouse-friendly company. Which is not nearly as many times as some of you. We've moved 8 times in our 21-year career in the military. And every time I moved, the Adecco Group, kept saying, no, we're not going to let you go. We promise you we're going to figure this out and we're going to keep you. And that included 2 over duties assignments, this being one of them. So super grateful. One thing that I will say, and I think a lot of you will understand this also, is that as much as this day was really a perfect day, and we loved honoring my husband on this day, it was a reminder for me that his career kind of kept going like this in the Navy. And my 20-year career here at the Adecco Group, as grateful as I was and am to still be here, it really plateaued. And that was because I took myself out of promotion opportunities. I was the sole childcare provider and was working at the same time, but I didn't feel like I could raise my hand for promotions and different roles within our organization. And I think a lot of you have sort of made that same sacrifice. So when he came to me a couple of years ago and said, you know, babe, I think we said we're going to do this until it didn't make sense anymore. It's not making sense for a couple of reasons. I think it's time we retire. I said to him the three little words that thousands of spouses have said to me over the last 20 years, which is, it's my turn. And that was very empowering for me. And within 6 months, I was promoted into what has really become a dream job. I went to my boss, I self-advocated, I sat down with her and I said, boss lady, I've got more gas in the tank. And I haven't even started to scratch the surface of what I want to do and how I want to be developed as a leader. We're going to move somewhere where we're not going to move for a long time. And I'm ready for this, and my family's ready for this. We built a plan, and literally I was promoted within 6 months. And that may not be the same story for you all, but the point is that it had to be the right time in my life and in our family's life in order for me to take that next step, to ask for that next job, and to really lean into my career and be the professional that I really wanted to be. So this program is insanely personal to me. And is born from my own experience, certainly, but from experience of so many spouses I've worked with over the years. So let's talk a little bit about what it is. Next slide, if you don't mind, Shannon. Thank you so much. First of all, it's free. I said free. It didn't cost you anything. You don't have to write a check. You don't have to put down a credit card, nothing like that. The Adecco Group US Foundation is covering the cost of this entire program. So it is a true gift of learning that you are giving yourself, or that we are giving to you. The time frame there is important. It is 12 weeks. So it is set up to be a virtual group workshop kind of model. That's very intentional, but it is really important that you are going to be available at the same time every week for the duration of this program, for the entire 12 weeks. I think this is referenced on a slide coming up here in just a minute, but we will be meeting every Wednesday from 1 to 2 Eastern. We may have a couple of workshops that are 90 minutes long, but the majority of them will be done in an hour. And then there will be a decent amount of homework or self-reflection time that you will be doing outside of the live workshops. All the workshops will be led by a coach, a career coach. I actually will be leading the first workshop, which is all on transition. So far, the folks that have applied for this program, I see about half of you are less than a year out from separating or retiring from military service, and the other half are over a year out. So some of you may be like, did the transition, aced it, or it was terrible, but I'm over that hill. Great. You can help teach some folks that are in the thick of it now, some tips for kind of getting it through a little bit better. So that will be our first. Hi, Jenna. So good to see your face. So let's talk a little bit about how some of the things that you're going to get out of this program after the commitment that you're putting in. The first is obvious. It's self-investment, you all. And I think that, thanks, Shannon. I think self-investment is, like anything, what you put into something is what you get out of it. So I want to make sure you're protecting your time. You're going to hear me say this a lot in that 12-week program, and that you were not trying your darndest not to be distracted and multitasking if at all possible, that you were really focusing on yourself in that 60 minutes or in that 90 minutes so that you get the most out of each session. You're going to gain real world skills. So we're going to talk about in just a second upskilling and reskilling opportunities. So whether you're focusing on moving the needle on some of your hard skills or really honing in on some soft skills that make you really sellable or marketable, we're going to take you from good to great there. Personalized support. So I love this. I was able to get each of you that will be in the program 2 one-on-one career coaching sessions in addition to the weekly workshops that we'll be leading. So you will have 2 one-hour one-on-one sessions very independently, and it will be up to you in terms of what's discussed during those sessions. So you may be going through a workshop and kind of being stuck mentally on a particular topic. That's probably a great opportunity for you to meet one-on-one with a career coach and talk about the thing that you're stuck on. But you'll have lots of freedom and to pick that. Career advancement. My ultimate goal, you all, is that after participating in this program, whether you are unemployed and you are looking to become employed, or you're pivoting maybe to a new career, or you're looking for advancement like I was within your organization, that you have a clear, individualized roadmap on how to get there. So that's my goal for you at the end of this 12 weeks. And we're not all going to be in the same place at the end of the 12 weeks. We'll talk about this in just a second, but our first stage is around self-discovery. First of all, sometimes that takes people a lifetime to figure out, who they are and what they want to do. So by no means are you going to get through it necessarily in a week, but just know that like this, you may have some starts and stops throughout this process, and that's going to be encouraged. And then networking. So in my career, especially in the last 5 years, I've created several upskilling and reskilling programs for military spouses. And this is not that. However, one of the things that I learned in creating those programs is the importance of community. And you all have said to me over and over and over again, we miss our people. Create an environment where we can get to know each other, not just like professional networks, but just like connect, especially most of us are women, with other women that have similar experiences and are like-minded. So we're going to do that, and we're going to do that a lot. You all are going to really get to know each other. Like it or not. Hopefully you like it, because we're going to do a lot of activities that encourage togetherness and connection. Next slide, my dear Shannon. Thank you so much. This is just sort of a quick timeline. We'll talk on the next slide, break each one of these things down. But these are the stages of the program. I just mentioned self-discovery. We'll go into grow, brand, prep, land. And then we've got a bonus workshop at the very end that's on financial planning. So something that moves beyond literacy. The idea being, I've done the work of career exploration. I know where I want to go. I've landed the job. Now I've got extra cash in my pocket or in the bank. Like, what do I do with that? Where's a good place to manage that? How do I grow that? We've got Truist Bank coming in to deliver that workshop, which I'm really excited about. So we've tried to be really thoughtful and think of this like true 360 model in terms of overall career transition and development. Okay, if you want to go to the next slide, Shannon, we can talk a little bit about each stage so you have a better understanding of what we're trying to accomplish in each stage. So in this first stage of self-discovery, the one thing I want to say about this, and I mentioned you all that I've been here for 20 years. For 10 years of my 20-year career, I managed our Olympic athlete and Paralympic sponsorship with the USOPC. And my team helped Olympic athletes and Paralympic athletes transition from being a professional athlete, or not professional, but being an elite athlete, to like figuring out, who am I? What is my identity outside of being an athlete? And what career do I want to pursue? And one thing I used to always tell athletes is career searching is soul searching. So it's not just going on Indeed or going on Monster or LinkedIn and looking for like jobs. This is the time for you all to really dig deep and figure out, how do I match what's in my head and what's in my heart? How do I align my values and my interests and my motivators to a career that is fulfilling? Because so many of us, I know this to be true, we've taken jobs for the check. Right? We needed to have 2 incomes in our household. We took what was available to us, and there's no shame in that. And there's honor and dignity in all work. But if now is your turn, and now is the right time in your family to take a beat and to maybe figure that out, because you haven't let yourself do that, we're going to spend a lot of time doing that. And if that sounds awful and daunting to you, you might want to rethink this program, because we are going to spend some time there. The cool thing is that in that process, you're going to discover so many things about yourself. But one thing you're going to ultimately discover are career opportunities or career paths that maybe you haven't thought about before, or maybe you have thought about and you just haven't looked into them as deeply as you want to. Ultimately, we want to get to a phase where we know, okay, this is sort of the area that I want to focus my efforts in. And when we do that, what you're going to learn is the skills that you have already today to pursue that career, and the skills that you don't. And in that growth phase, the skills that you don't have, we are going to provide you tools to help get you those skills. And it may not be all the skills that you need, but you will definitely have a plan. If we can't get those skills for you, and some of it may be additional training that we're paying for to get you, then you're going to have a plan for how to get that. So that's to me is huge. Branding, I think, is a little bit self-explanatory in that we're talking about your personal brand. Who are you? What do people say about you when you're not in the room? And how do you present yourself professionally, in person, online, when you're out in the real world networking? Like, trust me, y'all are going to know yourself more than you ever wanted to know yourself by the end of 12 weeks. Prep. So in prep, we're doing like all the checklist stuff that you have to do when you are pursuing an opportunity. Resume, LinkedIn profile, check, that's hitting on all cylinders. Networking, I've got my list, awesome. Interviewing, I'm set, I'm ready to go. Those are all of those things that even if you know how to do and you've all done before, like we're hoping again, we're going to take you from good to great, even in those areas. And a career coach will be able to check you on all those things, which is good. And then in the land phase, that's where we're really talking about job search strategies, salary negotiation, connecting you not only to our recruiters. We are a family of recruiters across the Adecco group, specializing in a ton of areas. That's great. We want to be a resource to you, but we also want to connect you to recruiters and hiring managers in the areas, obviously, or in the jobs that your careers that you're actually pursuing. So we'll really be focusing on that in the very end of the 12-week program. One thing I want to say about this is, and we haven't, and you can go to the next slide, Shannon, is actually, I'm going to pause and I'm going to say that in my Shannon, don't let me forget, say, Rochelle, go back to the point you were going to make before, because I don't want to lose this.
Got it.
This is a quick snapshot just to give you a quick idea of some of the resources that we're going to be giving you. So not only the 2 career coaching sessions and the group style format, you'll see there on the left that workbook. That's a digital workbook that we've created where you will be recording all of your reflections. This is something that you will have forever and ever, amen. Unlike, but excitingly, the access that you're going to get to our online career studio. It's sort of like a portal, but like on steroids. So it's got videos, it's got workshops, it's got trainings, additional trainings that you can take if you want. It's got, you'll get a license to LinkedIn Learning. So those of you that have been out of the military over a year and your LinkedIn Learning license has expired, or you never took advantage of that, you will get that back throughout the 3 months of this program. So this is like something that you are going to want to spend a lot of time in. It is a tremendous resource for you to be able to have access to it. So I'm super excited for that. And then at the bottom, you'll see on what looks like on the little mobile device is an AI tool that we've created that also facilitates kind of that self-discovery, that step 1 that we talked about. We don't need to get into the details of that, but I just wanted you to know we've got a variety of online, virtual, mobile-friendly, and also workbooks that you will get as resources in addition to actual human beings throughout the program. Next slide, Shannon. This is what I want to talk about, eligibility. So the point I was going to make before is if you were looking at those stages of the program and you're like, you know what, the whole know thyself thing, I'm good. I know who I am. I've got a good resume. If you're really mostly interested, let's say in the land phase where you just need that, you know what you want to do professionally and you just need somebody to help you find the job. I've got lots of resources that I can connect you to. If you are just looking for the job or you are just looking for the career, you're ready to apply today, this program may not be for you. I want to personally help you, but I don't want you to waste your time going through a full 12-week deep dive of yourself if you're only looking at one stage of the program. So please know that we want you to participate in the entire program, the entire 12 weeks, and be in it to win it. So if you're in the back of your head, you're going, that's kind of me, like, A, that's why we do these info workshops, but B, please message me on the side. I'll have Shannon put my contact information in the chat. Please feel free to reach out to me and I can help you in any one of those other areas if you're not interested in the full program. You must be a veteran military spouse. I've had at least 5 people apply who are veterans, but are not veteran military spouses, or they're active duty spouses. The reason I focused on veteran military spouses specifically is a lot of these programs don't exist for you. So they exist for the active duty military spouse, and then a lot of services stop for us when we leave active duty service. So this is really truly only for veteran military spouses. One other important question in that application is your ability to demonstrate how this program is going to benefit you. So don't worry about being wordy. You can tell I talk a lot. I'm wordy. Let me know. Like I want to make sure that this is right for you and that you've really thought through the meaning behind it, and how it's actually going to help you. The time commitment, super, super, super duper important. I get it. Life happens. We're busy moms, women, we got other things going on. Something comes up. So sorry, I can't miss I have to miss this session. We get it. We really want you to, if you have to miss one, but we want you to be present at all sessions. So please make sure that you're willing to participate and that you're able to. Okay, next slide, please. Key dates. Again, hopefully you've seen this on the application or on the website. Also, Shannon, if you're able to kind of pull links maybe to the application or pull links to our website and drop it in the chat before the end of the call, just in case somebody doesn't have it, because they're here on the info session, they probably have it, but it's a good reference point. These are the key dates. Applications close at the end of next week, and our first session starts February 12th. We are not wasting any time. So please make sure that these dates work for you. And again, that you're able to participate in all of our sessions. Next slide, please, Shannon. Okay, super. I talked your ears off, but I left 8 minutes for you to ask questions. So I want to invite you to do a couple things. If you're shy, if you're an introvert and you don't feel like coming off of mute or on video, no problem. Put your questions in the chat. I'm happy to scroll through and read them and answer them live, or feel free to come off mute. Don't have to be on camera, and ask your question live. If you have a question, there is a pretty good likelihood that somebody else has that exact same question, and no question is a bad question. So what do you have? What concerns, questions do you have for me about It's My Turn? Anybody come here today with I really wanted to get something out of this info session and maybe you haven't gotten it yet?
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Katie.
Hi, Katie.
And I am really letting God guide me these days. And he, she, it, whatever, we all believe so. I've been brought to y'all and because I've been unemployed since November.
Mm.
And over the past year and a half, I've become my husband's caregiver. And so I actually left my corporate 20-year job as an executive assistant, operations and office manager, event planner. And I'm on this journey finding myself, and I'm not at a point where yes, it's my turn now, but I'm at a point where I need to make sure that I'm taking care of my husband in a different capacity than I was, and I need to have flexibility. And since I've been unemployed, I've been upping my skills and really looking into programs that I can utilize where I'm going, what I can do now, and have flexibility. So I guess my question, with this program and part of the self-discovery and the grow is this for someone like me that needs to find a position that is flexible? Or I have dreams of starting my own business and that kind of direction. Is this something that this program can help me achieve?
Well, Katie, first of all, let me say I can hear the pain in your voice when you talk about being a caregiver for your husband. And so my heart goes out to you, and I'm giving you a virtual hug through the computer. I can't even imagine what that's like, because I'm not in that situation, although I am a caregiver for my mom who has stage 4 cancer. So I do understand that. And here's what I would say is I think it's a 2-part answer, Katie. First of all, you mentioned God. I would be praying about this fervently, and you probably are. I think that it's not that it's not your turn. It just might not be your time. And so if can this program help you figure out the right part-time, flexible, entrepreneurial kind of journey to like help get you kind of on that journey? Yes, that I don't question that. But I question whether or not this is the right time for you. And you bring up a really good point because, you know, when I was first designing this program, you all, in 2 things. One, I just came off of a very amazing, can't say enough good things about it, veteran leadership program through the Bush Center in Dallas, Texas. I've been looking at that veteran leadership program, Katie, for 3 years, and it wasn't the right time. Every year I looked at the application. I was like, I really want to do this. I really think I would be good for this. This would be good for me. I think I could add value. And at the end of the year, I kept going, nope, not the right time, not the right time. Finally, last year, it was the right time. And it came at the perfect time. It wasn't in my time, but it was in the right time for my family and for my career. So I understand timing is everything. I had another point. Oh, the other thing is when I was designing this, my very first thought was in terms of eligibility criteria, I wanted to focus on veteran military spouses that were at least 6 months post separation or post retirement from the military. And the reason, and I chose ultimately not to do that. I had people talk me out of it. But the reason that I felt that way initially is because you all know this, but there's so much uncertainty when you're going through transition in your family that I felt like we have been sacrificing our careers for so long. And even in a period of transition, the husband or wife and family and kids are still coming first until we're settled, until the kids are in school, until the time has to be right for you. And who am I to say when that is? If it's 1 day post transition, or it's 6 months, or it's 1 year, you can answer that question. Is it the right time for me? We've got the tools. I feel very confident in that, but I think you know in your gut whether or not this is the right time for you. And one thing I'll say is that you guys, this is our first iteration of It's My Turn. We're going to grow and we're going to learn how to even do it better. And we intend to offer another cohort like at the beginning of summer, like August or September, so later in the year. So if you ultimately start thinking about this and you go, I'm really not that settled in my life, maybe this isn't the right time, but maybe 6 months from now it is. Give yourself that grace to come back to this. We will still be here for you, Katie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. That's always a very important element of anything that I create, is that we always create a safe place to share as a military spouse community. And you will find that in our live workshops, that it is a come as you are, safe place to be. Let me go back through. I feel like I may have missed it. Oh gosh, I'm sorry guys, I did miss. Will the link to the application be emailed? Not emailed, but we will pop it into the chat. Shannon, if you don't mind popping it into the chat so they have a link to our application, that would be amazing. Is this program for those who have interest in exploring or pursuing entrepreneurship? Yes, absolutely. 100%. For me, it was prior to transition. I needed help to find my new tribe secret. Yeah. Oh, that is such a good point, Tracy. So that this sort of kind of where I see this program potentially going to next is actually looking, even though I said before, the reason I created this is there's not a lot of these programs for the veteran military spouse community, and there is for the active duty spouse community. I will open up my aperture to include active duty military spouses potentially at some point, because I think that there is a lot of truth in planning for your transition as a spouse well before you're actually in it or after you're through it. So I think that that's real. And I hear that. And I think it's up to every individual, right? I think that oftentimes what I've heard in the community is that we're still prioritizing our family's needs before ours. So, but that's not to say every military spouse does. But I do want to say that finding your tribe, That's hugely important. And we're going to talk about that, especially in our workshop, in our transition workshop. So, and yes, there've been a few iterations of transition. You all secret, you're going to transition your whole life. It's just a part of being a human being. So the transition from military service is one thing, but transition period is something that you're going to do your whole life. So we're going to talk about skills for managing that. I see Marcy. Oh, I didn't scroll through my whole list. I see a lot more faces that I missed earlier. Anybody else have April? Hi, April. I see your cute face. I see all kinds of faces. And I know we are right at time. I'm happy to stay on, but I want to be respectful of your time also. But if anybody has any other thoughts, questions, comments, happy to take them now.
Hi, I'll jump out there. Hi there.
Hey.
Losing my voice a little bit, excuse me.
That's
So yeah, I'm giving a lot of thought since you mentioned, where are you in your journey? And if you feel like you're really ready to get that job, maybe you don't want to spend the time soul searching and so on and so forth. So I've already applied. I felt like this was absolute. I mean, when I saw an opportunity that applied to already retired spouses, I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. I mean, I still say I'm a military spouse. I didn't recognize the fact that people don't consider me that anymore because after 22 years, like I still take that identity. But when I was being excluded from certain things, it was very hurtful. So to see that, thank you. Beautiful. Really appreciate it. But I feel very ready. I've been looking for work for a long time. The field that I'm looking in has not been an easy one to get into, social impact, nonprofit work, so on and so forth, for a former attorney, which is what I used to do before this whole military thing. So it's been a challenge. But so I guess what I'm wondering is, I feel very ready. I've been applying. I feel like I've got a pretty good package. However, I'm also wondering, Corey, maybe you need to think more outside the box. I have a lot of different interests. I've got a lot of different skills, and I'm thinking maybe I need to sort of look in other directions because maybe this particular area where I've been doing a lot of volunteer work, maybe that's not going to happen for you. And so I'm wondering, is this the right program for me? I don't want to be in a program where, you feel like I'm already at the place where I want to land, but I also am willing to think, well, maybe I need to cultivate or think about other types of jobs.
Oh, Corey, I think if you understand what we're doing and you want to make the investment in the 12 weeks in yourself, 100%, I think that this is right for you. I think that's very different than being like, I know exactly what I want to do. If you have those blinders on, which I don't mean that in a bad way. We want you to have the blinders by the end of this program. But, if you're already at the end of this program, like mentally, why put yourself through it? But if your aperture's open and you don't have those blinders on, come on, girl. I think you would be fantastic in this program. I'm probably a leader for other veteran military spouses in it. So I don't think it would be time wasted at all. But I think you need to have that gut check with yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Also, nobody has asked this, and I'm not even sure that I need to say this, but I feel kind of like I want to. I think if anybody here today is on the fence about whether or not you really want to work, if you've been doing you like taking your kids to school and you like being around to pick them up and, you're like, yeah, I'm going to kind of want to work and I'm not really sure. Like, I need you to be sure I want you to be sure that you are ready to really invest in yourself, going back to what you'll get out of this program, that you're not still on the fence about, whether or not you want to be, you want to pursue a career. So that's different, very different than what you're saying, Corey. But I do think it might be helpful to some people to make that distinction. It just like to my point to Katie earlier, it just might not be the right time yet for you, I want you to be ambitious. I want you to be like, yeah, I'm retaking my destiny. Marcy, any questions? I appreciate your smiling face because that gives me such feedback that what I'm saying is either making you laugh or resonating.
No questions, but it's landing definitely.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for the affirmation.
We had one
question in the chat, Rochelle, around who is going to be teaching the sessions. I didn't know if you
Oh.
wanted to touch on that quickly.
Yep, good question. So our colleague over at Lee Hecht Harrison or LHH, Angela is a certified coach, career coach. And so she has actually been working with military spouses, has worked with veterans in the past, is a seasoned career professional that's been doing this for a really long time. And so she is the one that will be leading majority of the session. So the first session I mentioned I will be leading, that's the session on transition. And then she will come in and start talking to you about like all the things we talked about in self-discovery. She will lead you through all the steps. And then, so basically workshops 2 through 11, and then workshop 12 will be led by Truist Bank. Thanks, Louise, for joining. Lisa, I see your cute face. Any questions? Tracy, it's so good to like match a face with a name with your sunset of the ocean behind you. I'm so jealous just of a picture of your screensaver.
I had to throw that on and get my work background off so that I'm showing up as me. And Marcy, it's fun to see you there. Her whole smiling face, I got to enjoy that for several months when I worked with Marcy. So,
Oh, y'all know each other. I love that.
yes.
Marcy,
When she
did
was
you
an active
come?
duty spouse.
Oh, you are?
No, when she was.
Oh, when she
She's
was,
a-
when she was. Got it. Got it. Did you, Marcy, did you come because Tracy posted this on LinkedIn?
Yes, Tracy. Yep. So thank you for sharing that, Tracy.
Yeah, happy
Thank
to
you.
promote.
Thank you for amplifying. Tracy, any questions from you? Because I know that we talked a little bit on LinkedIn about this, but are you understanding kind of the scope of what we're trying to accomplish and what a participant would get out of this program based on what we talked about?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm looking forward to meeting with you again one-on-one to get a little bit more of a deeper dive and seeing how we can support and how I can support. And I have ideas, of course, of collaboration. That's always where my brain goes. But no, I think it's really great. And like you said, there's a lot of support for active duty spouses, and that's the DoD active duty spouses. I don't know, Coast Guard is not included in there, but so this is so needed because where I work, we have limited resources for veteran spouses, and being that veteran spouse, it's painful to not be able to serve my people. So I'm so thankful for what you're spearheading for all of us in this room.
Thank you for saying that. I've gotten a lot of really great feedback, you all, about the name of the program, about the branding surrounding the program, which seems to be really hitting and resonating with the community, which makes me so happy. So that's, and of course, the intention and what we're actually doing is more important, but it's been great feedback. Lisa, I see that you were still hanging on video. I hate to put you on the spot, but kind of, you know, any thoughts, questions?
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to find the unmute button. No, this is great. I just wanted to listen to everyone's questions. I had someone already asked a question that I had, so it was good. I may reach out to you afterwards to just get some clarification on a couple of things. But this is great because I've been my husband's been out for a while, and I wish I had this when he first left. He was in the Army, so yeah. But this is, I can see how this would be super helpful for someone who's just like getting out and transitioning too.
Yep. Lisa, where do you live? Where do you guys live now?
We're in Tampa now.
Oh, that's where I came from. I was there we're in Colorado now, but that was our last duty station was Tampa.
Oh, okay. Yeah. MacDill.
Oh, I miss it I don't miss it in the summer, but I do miss it in the winter.
Oh, well, it's cold here right now. It's in like in the 40s, and they had snow in northern Florida today.
I saw that. That's so, when we lived there, I used to laugh when it would get like 60 degrees and you would see people wearing like their parkas. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
And their kids to the bus stop. I'm like, y'all, it's not that cold.
No, yeah, people are very sensitive to the cold here. Yeah, nothing like, I lived in Boston for a long time, so it's kind of like, this is nothing.
Oh no, you ain't seen nothing yet, Tampa.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for being here today. Please do feel free to reach out to me. Happy to answer any other questions. Laura, yes, I saw that it snowed in San Antonio and Houston too, which is so, y'all don't know what to do with snow down there. I'm pretty certain, which is crazy. I see somebody, I know your name is not Samuel. Maybe your name is Samuel. You have your
my name's Kara.
Okay.
My name's Kara. I don't have a Teams account, so I'm using my son's school account. which, I don't know how legal that is, but I just thank you for the opportunity. I believe I found out about this through Tracy Steele's post, because I found out about it on LinkedIn, and I've been thinking about this for a while. My husband got out in 2020 after 30 years of service, and we were married for 10 of that. So, and both of my kids are 10 and 12, so I've been volunteering for years, but I'm finally at the point, okay, what's next for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for offering this.
Oh gosh, my pleasure. Thank you for your service. And this is me getting on a soapbox, and this is being recorded, but so I'll have to risk it a little bit. But I'm one of the this is an unpopular opinion. I'm warning you. I think that one of the disservices that we've done to the military spouse community, active duty DoD military spouse community, is when we can't find a job, people have been telling us to volunteer. And it's not that volunteering is bad. Volunteering is amazing. Like I volunteer. You should volunteer. It's the right thing to do to give back. You do build skills. I can give you 20 reasons why you should volunteer. But I think the piece of it that is the disservice is to when we have. I think it has been presented to the spouse community as an equation of volunteering is equal to a paid job. And in an employer's eyes, it's not. It is the cherry on top, and it might be what distinguishes you from another person. But if you have somebody that's volunteered for 10 years and you're looking at, and they volunteered in an operations capacity, and you're looking at somebody who has had paid experience for 10 years, probably 8 or 9 times out of 10, the hiring manager is going to go with the person that's been paid to do the thing that volunteer has been doing. Is it right? Probably not. Are we missing out on really good people? 100%. But I've always been frustrated by that. Like, let's encourage spouses to volunteer. Again, don't mix the message. It's 100%. It's fantastic, but it is not the same as paid work, unfortunately. So let's figure out how to take all of your volunteer experience and channel that into, like, okay, what resonated with me about that work? Did that work even match my values? What am I motivated by? What am I actually good at? And like, find a path that makes sense for you. And if you haven't had a paid job in a long time, you may be starting over, quote unquote. Maybe not, maybe not. But, if you're willing to kind of look at that and be realistic about where you might fit in, in the workplace, like, let's take the deep dive together, figure it out. Sorry that I told you it was a soapbox moment.
So I have to
Looking
say, I'm
forward
so
to it.
happy.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to interject there that I'm so happy you addressed that. I'm happy for Miss Samuel. I don't know what your real name is. I'm sorry, I forgot. I really appreciate what you've said.
Kara.
It resonates, Kara, completely with me. And Rochelle, thank you for being honest about that. That's a problem I have run into big time. Like, very substantive, like hardworking volunteer as a program manager. And yet it's like that term is like a bad word. It doesn't really, anyhow. So what I was going to ask was, given all of that, what is the data about, like, our military spouse, our veteran military spouses getting hired? I mean, where do things really stand?
Oh,
Because it's tough out there.
It is so hard, Corey. Even I was having it. So I have 2 things to say about that. One, there is no data. I actually, when I was in the Bush program last year, we got to hear from Department of Labor and this guy that does like all the surveys and stuff for Department of Veteran Affairs and Department of Labor. And I specifically asked that question because I wanted it to support my program. When I had to pitch It's My Turn in October, I wanted the data to support, all the claims that I was making. And he was like, a military spouse is a military spouse is a military spouse. So there is no data specifically on the veteran military spouse community, sadly. So it doesn't exist, and we don't know. We do know things like, even as an active duty military spouse, we get paid 38% less than our civilian counterparts do. My civilian counterpart, Shannon, that's on the phone, at her level and her age, she's probably making more than I did, and not because of inflation, but because she's not a military spouse. Like there are facts and studies behind that. So that's going to follow you. That follows you your whole life. You never catch up. So we do know things like that data that takes us into veteran military spousehood, so to speak. Oh shoot, I forgot my second point. We don't have the data. And then what was that? Oh, well, I know what I was going to say. I was on a call last week. We're with a group that I'm part of, and we're looking at creating a very senior level professional development program for military spouses. And somebody on that group was talking about, I mean, they were like the head of a, decent sized nonprofit, and talking about how hard it is. They have a PhD. They've not only been a volunteer, but actually ran a nonprofit, and how hard it is for them to make the switch into working for a for-profit organization. And whoever tells you that it's valued the same is just not being honest. They just don't want to sound bad. But the reality is that it's not that it's not valued. So I'm going to keep saying that. I'm not saying that it's of zero value. I'm saying it's not equal. So anyway, that doesn't sound very inspiring. Corey, I promise you I'm more inspiring than that. And
the honesty is refreshing. Let me just say that. The honesty is refreshing because it's what you face, and yet everyone's telling you, oh no, they're getting jobs left and right. And you're not seeing that. The proof is not in the pudding. So thank you for being honest. It reflects exactly what I see to be true. And it also means, it affirms for me, like pivoting might be necessary, and being more realistic about where you start, where you look at so it's good. So I appreciate it.
I've picked on all the people that are on camera. Nobody else wants to come on camera because they're like, she's going to call on me and then I'm going to have to say something. I won't do that to you, but any other thoughts, questions, anything like not landing? I want to make sure that you guys really understand kind of the nuts and bolts of what the program is and what we're trying to accomplish, kind of the why behind it. And I'm happy to go into any more detail on anything that I brought up or that I gave a high level overview of. I think I mentioned this, but and maybe this is for obvious reasons. If you're a veteran military spouse, not all, but most are going to be living in the U.S. So this really is a program for, if you're living in the U.S., a lot of programs I've done have been for military spouses that are stationed overseas. This is not really that. Shannon, is there anything you can think of that I missed? I know I'm putting you on the spot, really putting you on the spot, but
yeah, no, the only thing I could think of, Rochelle, is did we want to go into detail about the amount of people selected for cohort 1?
Ooh, good, excellent. Yes. So we have up to 25 spots available for cohort 1. So we won't go over that number, kind of a best in class number for group virtual workshops. I mean, if I had my pick, I would fly you guys all, and it would be impossible to do this weekly, but I'd fly you guys all in together and we'd like knock this out and do it together in person. Like that would be my future iteration of this, is like conference style, and we duke it out in person. And I mean that in a good way, duke it out, connect in person. We're not able to do that. So the best chance you have of really facilitating that connection and network that's so important is to keep it around 20 to 25 participants. So we definitely will go over the 25. Like I said earlier, we will be offering a second cohort later this year. So ultimately, if you say, great program, I need this in my life, but not right now, great, apply later. Good point, Shannon. No problem. I also, give me as I kind of fumble through here, let me give you, or at least put in the chat, my LinkedIn, a way that you can reach out to me on LinkedIn or connect with me on LinkedIn. It's a great first way to start building your network. Several people have mentioned Tracy Steele. So she's another good person that you want to connect with. Also, it's just good to, Shannon, you might want to put our foundation, in case you guys want to follow what we're doing in the foundation. I didn't talk about this at all, but I did mention that I've created programs specifically for military spouses. If you want to check us out on our website and see any of the other programming that we've done, feel free to follow us on social media. We always encourage, always want new followers to see what we're doing.
I've pinned our website to the top of this chat for y'all. That will not only house all the information about It's My Turn, but it also has all of the things that Rochelle just touched on. So give it a look.
Thanks, Shannon. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, I reviewed it before too. Okay, yeah, good. Lauren says wait, is Lauren still on the phone or still present? Lauren. Yes, she is. She says, I already registered before attending. Is that okay? Do you mean apply? You don't mean, right? I assume you mean apply for the program, Lauren. And if so, absolutely. Yes. Fantastic. Yes. We have had, I think, close to 60 applications so far for the program. Oh, one thing that I should have mentioned when we had more people on the phone is, but for those of you that are left on the call, and thank you for staying on, if after listening to this, you decide you did apply and you say, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be, or this isn't the right time, please email me directly and just say, I'd like to pull my application. Shannon, I don't think there's a way to go back in to the application and like, no, there's not, because it's a form on Teams. There's no way to like unapply digitally. I think you just need to email me and say, I've actually decided that this isn't quite the right time, or I'm no longer interested. So let me put my direct email address in the chat as well. In worst case scenario, you get selected for the program and then decide it's not right for you. And, we slot somebody else in there, but I'd love to avoid that as much as possible. And I see Jennifer typing, so I want to wait and let her get that in there so we answer her question. Courtney or Brandy, questions from either of you or Allison? If not, that's so okay. Just wanted to give you the chance to speak up if you had a question.
I don't have a question, but I think that the program is great and I want to apply.
Awesome. Courtney, where do you guys live right now?
We're in Texas.
Oh, are you the one in San Antonio?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I'm between San Antonio and Dallas.
Nice. What's that? Is that like Austin or Waco? Or
Yeah, we're between Austin and Waco. We're right in the middle. We're near Fort Cavazos.
Okay.
Fort Hood.
I have been there. It is huge. It's been a long time since I've been to Fort Cavazos, but I have done a drive-by. Hi, Galena. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Any questions, thoughts, comments you want to share?
No, I'm just absorbing on the background and it seems like an amazing opportunity. I just sent you a message via LinkedIn to connect.
Super.
And I also think it's the right time for me I feel a little stuck in my role as a military spouse and I need some help, a push and motivation to get out, and this program came along. So hopefully
I understand.
I'll be a part
that.
of it.
Excellent. We encourage you to apply. Oh, we've got Jennifer's in Fort Worth. She says hello, Courtney. She wants to know if you want to be friends.
Sure, we can be friends.
She did not say that. She just said howdy neighbor from Fort Worth.
I'm near Fort Worth all the time.
Oh, you guys should share information. Brandy, anything from Brandy? Did we not hear? Do we hear from Brandy? Brandy or Kelly? Brandy, Kelly, Sarah. Brandy, Carrie, Sarah. Brandy, Carrie. Why can't I say that fast? Kelly, Sarah. Nope, you're good. I'm calling people out and they are dropping like flies. Okay. So I think it looks like we covered it all, guys, which is great. Again, one last time, if you have any additional follow-up questions, applications close next Friday, January 31st. If you know of a veteran military spouse that you think would benefit from this program, please share. Sharing is caring, and we're always looking to amplify. I know that I'm not reaching nearly as many veteran military spouses that are out there or that could benefit from this program. So if you know anybody that could benefit or might be interested, please share. And And with that, I will let you get back to your day. Thank you all for hanging on. It was great to see you. It was great to meet you. And we look forward to hopefully working with you this year. Thank you guys so much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Bye-bye.